Hey everybody, this is Oliver Joyce from Whiskey Barrel Studios and welcome to May. I can't believe it, it's May already, which means it's time for another update on Sword and Sandals Crusader. Tonight I want to show you a little bit more about the battle system in the game, which is pretty much what I've spent the last month working on. I showed you in the last video a working prototype of the battles. I've improved them and refined them a little bit more over the last couple of weeks and added pretty much all of the spells are in there now and some extra special effects and things. Another few days and I think I'll be ready to move on to the sieges phase of the game. But tonight let's jump in and I'll show you how a battle works in Sword and Sandals Crusader Redux. So what we've got here is a battle between the Sons of Frost with Bors the Mighty in charge and of course King Lionel and the Kingdom of Fatal. And I've used these two armies because they are the first two armies that you meet in the campaign, and this is what we used in the last video. I'm going to be revealing the other armies closer towards the end, or maybe not at all. We'll see how we go. Alright, so I'm going to explain a little bit about what you see on this screen. There's your character's name, what level he is, command points, basically essence from the other Swords and Sandals games, and how many troops you've got, whether you have a Colossus or not. We have Sandalf when they have Gaiax, and there's your enemy's stats. That's your king's health as well. We basically has 40 health, and here's our armies lined up in neat rows. Every phase of the game, of the battle, is divided. So this first phase, we have an option to move the king to the front. We can use a command, we can use our archers to fire arrows, or we can retreat. If I go fire arrows first up, you can choose who I want to fire upon. We're going to start off firing on the enemy's ranged troops because it's good to get take them out of the game early. Fire. And they fire back on us. So they lost one soldier. We didn't lose any. You'll notice up here, the enemies now have little comments. These comments are actually the random battle chatter from the old Crusader. I'm going to be creating special bits of chat that's more relative to each commander in the coming days and weeks. At the moment, they're just using the random ones from there, so they don't always make any sense. Next is the melee phase. So we choose one of our troops. Let's use the heavy artillery. You can see here the stats for our characters there. Champions have 5 attack, 4 defense, 6 damage, and 12 health, compared to our king, who has, he's not on the field, but he has a lot more than that. Light troops, 3, 2, 3, and 6. You can also increase the damage or the amount of attack or the amount of defense your troops will do in any one turn. So if I was to do a furious attack, for example, what we'd see is 3 damage plus 50%, it'll do 6 damage, or whatever, some maths. All right, let's do a furious attack and see what happens. So we took down a lot of their ranged troops, 2 dead versus 11 dead. In the old Crusader, you saw a lot of text appearing on the top of the screen, which sort of pop up. It doesn't work that well in the context of this game and on mobile and everything. That kind of stuff actually slows the game down a bit, so I've removed it and just had sort of more iconic kind of things. Alright, so we have commands, and these are basically spells. Most of your leaders won't have all of these. I'm going to make them, I'm not sure actually, you'll start off with 2 command points. So you can cast, it says you've used 2 of 2. That's incorrect. I'll fix that up later. But you'll be able to learn these as you level up. In the original Crusader, you basically had up to 50 character levels, and I don't know if I want to go there again. I'm not sure exactly, but there may only be characters level up to say level 10, because when you think about it, a campaign in Swords and Sandals is 5 missions, and each mission doesn't go for all that long depending on the battle. So most of the time you find that you will not reach level 50 or that's too many levels to level up and see the level up screen and choose a skill again and again and again. So what I'm going to do is basically have fewer levels, more important leveling up, and skills will still be able to be improved, like airstrike, raise the dead, cause fear, but they might only have 3 tiers. So the level 1 airstrike might only do 20% damage, that kind of thing. Let's check out some of these skills. Let's do Call Lightning on our enemies. So that killed 6 people. This game still has no sounds, of course. It makes such a difference when you hear the sounds of crackling thunder and that kind of stuff like that. Alright, which troops will fight this round in the melee phase? Let's send in the cavalry with the defensive attack. Sometimes, if you pay attention up here, their morale is poor, so they've fled. Sometimes you can see what the enemy is choosing to do next, and I've done that just for fun, just to make it a little bit so it's not always them seeing you first. So we know that they're going to fire their arrows, so we can, if we want, we can cast another spell. I can send my commander to the front. I'm going to do that now. Everyone gets out of the way while King Lionel appears. Enemies fire upon our Colossus. Boars is freaked out. We're all going to die. Now King Lionel's on the field, and he has 12 attack, 8 defense, 25 damage, so he can really take down Colossus like Gaia and so on. So he has 40 health. If he dies, the battle's over. It doesn't matter how many troops were left on the field, the battle's over. They don't really die, they get stretched off. I haven't put that animation in, but that's what will be going in. But you basically take a risk by putting him out on the field, but he does a lot of damage. So if we do a furious attack, let's see what happens. So he took down, yeah, they're fleeing now, they're freaked out. 5 dead, a lot of the heavy troops fled. Okay, so we now will move him back. He took 9 damage, so he's still pretty healthy. Now their leaders come out, Boars has come out. So we can actually do some damage to Boars. Let's send our Colossus out and with a furious attack. We've killed Boars, and the troops have fled. Battle 1. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replay that battle again, and we'll see what other things we can do. All right. So here we are again. This is the same army configuration. What you see here, we've got 20, 40, 55 soldiers in the Colossus. Armies can get probably twice as big as that. You can have up to 100 troops in Sword and Sandals Crusader Redux. I can't remember actually how many you could have in the old one. I don't think it was as many as 100. We can retreat the battle from the battle, and I might show you that towards the end. And but for now, I want to show you another spell. Let's do the leadership. King Lionel comes out, gives a little speech, heads back, and that should boost our morale. You don't see it there yet, but that will boost our morale. So let's end our... I want to have a Colossus battle. That's the main thing I still want to show you in this video, because that's in the game now. It's kind of cool. So fire arrows on their ranged troops. It's always a good idea. If we take out their other troops, then they'll have no choice but to send the Colossus out. Command. Let's do an airstrike. This is a fun one. For some reason, they guys are still in the air. I don't know why. So that was a pretty weak airstrike. Killed 13. That's actually not too bad. That gets more powerful. I've set it to the lowest level right now. But in theory, we have 0 more command points left, so I shouldn't be able to use any more stats. I only added those commands last night, so I haven't fully tested them. All right, let's send in the cavalry. Furious attack. Take out their polar barbarians. For some reason, he's still floating in the air. That's a bit of a weird bug. Not Sword and Sandals without bugs, but I should fix that one up. He's dead. He's just sort of fading out right now. Okay, so we are out of command points. So you notice there's no option to use a command there. We can send Lionel to the front, but I'm going to save him because I want to use the Colossus in battle against their Colossus if they send theirs out. So he's not. He's being a bit coy. Balls is being a bit coy. He's not telling what he's doing next. But if we can take out their Colossus, they're starting to flee the battle, which is good. Our morale is good. Theirs is poor. At the moment, the enemy has no AI to cast spells. That's why you're not seeing him cast any. Let's fire at their... They've got 4 ranged troops left. Yeah, let's get rid of them all. They still got a couple of arrows off, which is nice. Send in the cavalry. Alright, they kept... So, they're fleeing fast. I really want them to send their Colossus out. It's interesting. I actually need to tweak the AI a bit so they send their Colossus out a bit more. You can see Gaiax has been peppered up a bit, and he hasn't even entered the battle. Oh no, why did I send him in? Oh, leader battle, that's interesting. But it's not what I wanted, so let's send in the heavy troops. Yeah, they're freaking out. Okay, so let us take him back. So as you can see, he's supposed to be heading back, but he's not. That might be a bug. As you can see, he's a little bit more tactical, I think, than the original Crusader. This is a pretty big battle with a lot of troops. So the battles go for a little longer. All right, so let's send in the Colossus defensively, so I don't want to die before he fights the other one. Here we go. Got him. That was a pretty close fight. Gaiax fought well. Of course, you need that heavy metal music to really make that something special, and you know that'll be part of the final version. But now, just for fun, let's retreat from the battle. All right. So when you retreat, you got to roll at least an 11 on the D20 dice, and you don't get to see what the number is, so it's kind of luck. You can pray for luck if you want. In this case, King Lionel can pray to Sul the One. Each other army has their different god to pray for. Let's pray just for fun. And now I need to roll 9, 7. Okay, let's roll. Yay! Successfully fled the battle. We didn't need to flee. We obviously had won, but he still fled the battle as well. It's kind of funny. They had 29 people survive the battle, even though they all fled. If you flee a battle, those troops can be used in a future battle. If they're dead, they're dead. All right. There we go. So that's it. That is where we're at with Swords and Sandals Crusader Redux. Notice I've actually got a little pop stand for my microphone now, so hopefully you can hear me better in future videos. And next up, I'll be probably spending another week and a half on the battles and just refining them, and I'll be coming back to it towards the course of the end. I'll be working on the sieges and catapults and so on, which is largely already part of Crusader Redux, of Swords and Sandals Pirates, and it just needs to be tweaked for Crusader Redux, because of course that is the engine I'm using. Then after that, we'll be working on the tournament system, so that should be sort of, you know, mid to late May. I had aimed originally to get this game out by May, but you know, pandemics being what they are, can make things a little bit more challenging. Maybe June, maybe July, who knows? The point is, I'm pretty happy with where the game is going. I hope you're enjoying seeing these little sort of sneak peeks into the gameplay. What you see isn't a finished product. Don't be alarmed if, you know, it doesn't quite look how you want it to look, or it doesn't quite, you know, have the, you know, the wow factor yet. The sound will help, and of course playing full screen will help as well. But I'm actually pretty confident in Crusader Redux. I quite like this as a remake of the original. It's different enough from the first game as to warrant being remade, because I kind of feel like, what's the point of just making this game again, you know, note for note? You've already got the original. The original works on your PC now with the Steam Classic Collection and everything. I want this to feel like Crusader, but just be different enough that it's a different experience. Hence some of the rule changes and things like that. And of course, this game is going to work on mobile phones. It's going to work on, I think you'll probably need a pretty good phone, a phone for the last 2 or 3 years. But I haven't tested on phones yet, but I'm looking forward to doing that when the time comes. I've got so much to do, and sadly not enough time to do it. That's the game dev's constant dilemma. Anyway, my friends, I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will be seeing you again in a few days with a Games Gladiator video. I'm not sure what game I'll be doing next, but I'm looking forward to actually not making games, just having a play and a laugh. All right. Until next time, bye for now.